Pastor Allen back in my kitchen as we continue our Instant Pot series with the First Grapevine Culinary Institute. This evening I've got on my Saints gear, a little Who Dat action for New Orleans, because tonight we're going to continue that one chicken. So we had the roast chicken and we shredded that and had some leftover meat. I've got half of that right here. And what we're going to do is make some jambalaya. So I'll tell you what we've got. We've got that chicken. We have one 14.5 ounce can of diced tomatoes. We've got the Holy Trinity. This is the Cajun mirepoix. It's diced green pepper, celery, and onion. That's about a third a cup of each. 1 clove of minced garlic, 1 bay leaf, Creole seasoning, Cajun seasoning, whatever you want to do. 1.5 cups of long grain white rice, little thyme, little olive oil, 12 ounces of smoked sausage. Now you can use andouille if you want, which is a smoked sausage from South Louisiana. This is just typical smoked beef sausage that you can find in your grocery store. And then I have 2 cups of chicken broth. This is that broth that we cooked with the bones from the roasted chicken. 2 cups of that. And so this is where we're going to get started. We have the Instant Pot in saute mode right now, and this is where the Instant Pot is kind of a great thing. It kind of steps out a little bit from beyond the slow cooking other things, is that you can saute things first and then do the pressure cooking. And so we're going to add some olive oil to our pan. And first thing we're going to do is hold off on the bay leaf, but go ahead and add that Holy Trinity of onions, celery, and bell pepper. We're just going to saute that a little bit. While we're at it, we're going to add some of that Creole seasoning. And just stir that around. Now, Creole seasoning is one of those things it's an all-purpose seasoning. It's got paprika, cayenne, black pepper, garlic, salt, thyme, all kinds of wonderful things. You can adjust the spices to this if you want. If your family likes it spicy, add a little extra cayenne, maybe some hot sauce. If your family's more on the kind of mild kind of thing, you don't have to add any pepper at all. It can just be salt and pepper. And speaking of that, I'm going to grab some salt real quick and just add some basic salt. You got to season things as you go when you're cooking, because you want things to have layers and a little bit of depth. So we got that going. We're now going to add those 12 ounces of the sliced sausage. We want to get just a little bit of a brown on that. We don't want to move it around too much. Like you've seen me talk about before, when you're sauteing things and when you're cooking things in a pan, the more you move it around, unless you're stir frying over really high heat, you're not going to get any color. Without color, there's not any caramelization. Without caramelization, you don't have flavor. So we're going to build on this and kind of let that sausage, as it sticks to the bottom of the pan, is going to start like releasing some of its natural sugars and proteins, and that's going to go into that hot pan and form the brown stuff on the bottom, which is really, really good stuff, and adds to a lot of depth of flavor. So basically, you want to saute this for a little while. You get a little bit of brown on the sausage and cook those out a little bit. Depending on what brand of sausage you use and what kind you use, it has less or more fat. You could even use turkey sausage on this if you like. But once that has been cooking for a little while, has released some of its fat, so now we've got the olive oil, a little bit of the fat from the sausage, we're going to add our rice. And you want to stir the rice around a little bit first, because when you're cooking a dish like jambalaya, you want to make sure that all of the individual grains of rice are coated with that oil. It kind of helps it stay apart at the end, so that it's fluffy and not glumpy or gluppy. Some words I like to make up when I'm cooking, glumpy or gloppy, as you're cooking this kind of stuff. The same thing's true for like paella or pilaf or any of those, like even Spanish rice. It's always better if you saute the rice first with a little bit of oil or butter. So now the rice is nice and coated. So now we're going to add the can of tomatoes. We're going to season it to taste with thyme. I'll get that in a bit. A little more of that Cajun seasoning or Creole seasoning, because my family likes it a little bit spicy. We're going to add just a touch more salt, because that was a lot of rice that we put in there. 1.5 cups. Make sure to give it a good stir. The is you don't want anything cooking or sticking on the bottom, and that's one thing that can happen with Instant Pots, is because it does get really hot if you don't have enough liquid, or if you haven't stirred things in order to break up what's stuck on the bottom, it has a tendency to stick, perhaps. So, add the bay leaves, and now we're going to add our chicken broth. And at this point, you want to make sure all of the rice is off the sides of the Instant Pot. Give it one last big stir. Last thing we're going to add is the chicken. Stir that back in. Make sure it's all good and mixed up together. Already smelling good. Already smelling really, really good. Okay, so everything's stirred and mixed up and nicely distributed in that pot. So we're going to see if we can't do this backwards again. You do want to make sure that the seal on the inside of the Instant Pot is on the inside, because if that doesn't seal up, it's very challenging to make it work properly. So it's going to sing at me for a little bit while I try to get it. Alright, we've got it in. We're going to lock it in. It's now in sealing. Once again, we're going to hit manual. And then we're going to go up. Actually, we're going to hit cancel first. Turn it off saute. Manual, and we don't need to do it nearly that long. This is going to be really quick, and this is one of the benefits of cooking rice. We're going to go for 10 minutes. So set that at 10 minutes. That's it. It's done. So now you're going to let it go for 10 minutes. Once it comes up to pressure, it will cook. It will beep at you. Let it naturally release for about 5 minutes, and then manually release the rest, and then we'll come back and show you what the finished product looks like. Well, that didn't take long, and it has completed its 10-minute natural release, and then I switched it over to finishing doing it. So we're going to go ahead and open her up and see what we've got inside. Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about right there. This is fluffy, it's beautiful, the rice is great. You want to stir it up just a little bit to make sure that everything is distributed. You can remove the bay leaves at this time, but all that's really left is just to dish it up. Look at all that sausage and chicken and vegetables and spices. Ah, this is the way jambalaya is supposed to be. That is a bowl of Louisiana goodness right there. I say bon temps roulé, I say to everyone. So there you go, Instant Pot Jambalaya. We've got one more dish with that one chicken, 3 dishes coming up. And don't forget to let us know that you watch this or subscribe to our YouTube channel in order to be entered into a contest to win your very own brand new Instant Pot. In the meantime, stay home, eat everything, cook everything, and we'll see you next time.